Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Nabil bin Ahmad, and I'm going to present my research paper on the influence of advertising value on attitude toward political advertising and social media. So firstly, let's go to the introduction part. So what is political advertising? According to Sognesi 1990 and Shenkov 1972, political advertising is the key element for political marketing strategy, and the importance of it has been proven in elections. So in 2018, Malaysia has conducted the 40th general election, which see that the Pakatan Harapan, the new party in Malaysia, has won the general election and make the Barisan Nasional BN coalition, which is the longest ruling party government, has lost the power to Pakatan Harapan. So the winning of Pakatan Harapan has grabbed my attention since they are the new party in Malaysia, and they are already won the general election. So the effectiveness of political advertising played by the coalition PH coalition party during the GA40 was a key factor in their winnings in the general election. So Dukov in 1996, he mentioned that the advertising value in advertisement shown a positive relationship on attitude toward web advertising. So based on the Dukov statement, uh, I feel that based on the Dukov statement, this study tends to find out the influence of advertising value on attitude toward political advertising played by PH coalition party during the GE40. So let's go to the problem statement. So the problem statement, based from the past literature review that I have done, I will found that the most study were focusing using evidence value focusing on social media contact and not on political advertising. Therefore, this study found out that the research gap in this study were was there was no study were found using political advertising value in a political advertising uh, perspective. So questions. So there are two research questions in this study, which is there any relationship between informativeness, entertainment, credibility, trustworthiness, and irritation with attitude toward political advertising and social media among university students? And is there any differences on attitude toward political advertising and social media between gender of university student? And research objective is also which is to identify the relationship between informativeness, entertainment, credibility, trustworthiness, and irritation with attitude to vertical advertising in social media among university students, and to determine the difference on attitude toward political advertising and social media between gender of university student. So let's move to the literature review. Literature review. Okay, based on the literature review that I have done, informativeness, entertainment, credibility, and trustworthiness, I will found out have a positive and significant relationship toward attitude, while irritation, uh, I will show so so on the irritation based on the Dukov previous study, he mentioned that irritation, however, contribute a negative relationship toward attitude in advertising. So let's move to the theory. So in this study, theory of reason action were used in this study. Since this study were since this theory was categorized as a connective theory, which is provide a theoretical framework for understanding human behavior in a specific context. So this research using TRA in order to examine the influence of advertising value on attitude toward political advertising and social media. So TRA is used in this study as it is suitable to examine the attitude toward political advertising. So this is the conceptual framework that have developed based on the Dukov advertising value model and theory of reason action. So in this study, we can found that informativeness, entertainment, credibility, trustworthiness, and irritation and gender is the variable that you will use to examine how it will affect the attitude toward political advertising. So let's move to the hypothesis. Based on the research question and the theoretical framework that have been developed, so there are six hypotheses mm, that that were out. So there are six hypotheses and that have been developed. So hypothesis 1 until hypothesis 5 is actually to examine the heritage to examine the connection between advertising value toward attitude, which is so the hypothesis one is there's a significant relationship between informativeness, entertainment, credibility, trustworthiness, reputation on attitude toward political advertising and social media among university students. While for hypothesis six, it is used to seek to find out if there are any difference on attitude toward political advertising and social media between gender of university students. Methodology. So the population and sampling. University Utara Malaysia and University Science Malaysia USM were used as the sampling in this study. I'm not sampling. As a sample in this study. So according to the Croatia and Morgan population sampling table, the sample for this study should be 380 since the population of both university is 47,046. And this data was retrieved from the enrollment data on 2017. So this is the variable of this study: informativeness, entertainment, credibility, trustworthiness, irritation, and attitude. And from all these variables, only attitude variable items were dropped since the Cronbach alpha value is below than 0.7. So after the variable, the items from the attitude variable were dropped, so the Cronbach alpha raised against to 0.861. So instruments of study. So the studies use quantitative research method and closed format questionnaire, and Likert scale 5 point were used to measure or to measure the variable in the studies. So the data collection and analysis. So the questionnaire the questionnaires in this study were collected using Google Form and distributed using through WhatsApp, Twitter, and Facebook. And it all and in it is and the questionnaire is all open for almost 2 months and managed to collect 872 responses. Reliability test, Pearson correlation analysis, and independent t-test analysis was conducted in this study. So let's move to the results. Okay, based on this table, this table is about social demographic characteristic of respondents. So variables of gender variables shown that female are the most respondent, which is equal to 881, while the age variable for age category on 21 until 23, they are most respond from them, which is 666, and race variable, especially 852 of response were from Malay, Bumiputra, Sabah, Sarawak, compared to the other category, which is Chinese, Indian, and others. Only their least contribute to these studies. While for university variables, UUM, um, most response are received from the UM, which is 536 compared to the USM, which only 336. Uh, um, for the current semester variable, most respondents are from semester 6, followed by the semester 2, which is 219. 230 are from in semester 6, while 219 was semester 2, and the least response that I get is from semester 5, which is only 40. So for the last variable, have you been registered as a voter category for out of from 872 response that I received, only 359 said they have been registered as voters, while 530 are not registered as voters yet. So let's move to the Pearson correlation variable analysis. So informativeness, entertainment, credibility, trustworthiness, and irritation, all these variables are shown a positive relationship, except for the irritation where it's shown a negative relationship, which the R correlation is negative 0.276. The, and let's move to the independent symbol t-test. So based on this table, we can find out the male and female There's no difference between male and female since the mean of these of both from both category were three. For male is actually 3.4692, while for female is 3.4917. So this is shown this is show that there's no significant difference between female and male in this on attitude toward political advertising. So this table is the hypothesis testing summary. So from the table 1 and from the H1 until H5, we can see that all the hypotheses were accepted, um, except for the hypothesis 6, since the hypothesis 6 is actually mentioned that there is a significant difference on attitude toward political advertising in social media between gender of university student. So from the result from the test conducted, we found out that there's no um, significant difference on attitude. Therefore, the hypothesis 6 is rejected. So discussion and conclusion from all the study from based on the from the study that have been conducted, informativeness and entertainment was supported in this study since that it is consistent with Dow et al. And Wan and Shan in 2010 and 2014, where they found out that informativeness and entertainment were contribute and have a relation has a positive relationship toward attitude, where credibility and trustworthiness were consistent with previous study conducted by McKenzie and Lutz, Okazaki, Wan and Son, and Friedman et al. So except for the irritation was negatively affect the attitude toward worldwide web advertising, which is conducted by Dukov in 1995 and 1996. So the finding and the study indicate that irritation shows significant and negative relationship, which is um, which is um, which are consistent with the past study conducted by the Dukov in 1996. So in the conclusion, informativeness, entertainment, credibility, and trustworthiness play an important role in assessing how advertising value affect the attitude toward political advertising and social media, while advertising attribute did not play a significant role in assessment value as it found to affect the attitude toward political advertising. This study hoped to provide impetus for future study about the influence of advertising value and attitude toward political advertising and social media. I think that's all from me.